What's going on, YouTube vinyl community? It's your old pal Mikey Bananas from the Grown Man Record Night program, here to do a Vinyl Tag 2022. 2021 was a pretty good year in terms of collecting for me and the gang here on the show. Despite of all the nonsense going on in the world, there was still time to fall into rabbit holes of collecting and seek out things I've been wanting for a long time. And so overall, it was a pretty good year collecting-wise. There's two vinyl tags floating around, two main ones floating around the community this year. One done by UK stalwart of the VC, Rob Walker, the keeper of the poop emoji, and another done by our man Stunt Rock Confusion, a French man trapped in Sweden through some tale of international espionage, I'm sure that's yet to be told. Anyway, both were fantastic tags in their own right. And I thought the only proper thing to do, following suit with Mr. Mazzy, who kind of took 10 questions from each, being diplomatic about it. And I think that's what we're going to do. That ends up being a pretty damn good tag, I think, kind of combining them together like this. Got Jay here to chip in, help out. We're going to let Jay get it started with his favorite record of 2021.
Number one, my favorite record of 2021 is John Mayer's Sabrock. I was a little late to the John Mayer train, I guess because, you know, he was a guy that just played cheesy love songs, and, you know, your girlfriend always thought he was hot, and, but then I really started to kind of listen to his playing, and, you know, of course he plays with the Dead and Company now, and that kind of turned me on to his music, because I'm a big Grateful Dead fan, and the Sabrock album. The thing I really like about this, especially for a new record, is it kind of is a throwback to, you know, an 80s sound. It's kind of a softer rock record, I would say. You know, it's got a couple, if you heard the hits on it, New Light, you know, it almost kind of reminds me of, like, 80s Fleetwood Mac in a way, something like that. You know, I've heard somebody say some Phil Collins, which I can definitely see in it. But I love this record. I've listened to it multiple times. I've listened to the vinyl. The vinyl's actually really cool too. If you see, this is a Target edition. It's actually like a Pepsi bottle. If you ever drink Pepsi Cola out of the glass bottles, this was the color they were.
Number two is show the record you spent the most on in 2021. This is a pretty interesting story. By far, the artist I sought out and was really into in 2021 was Danzig and Samhain. And so I found every Danzig and Samhain record I could probably get my dirty little mitts on, and was excited to pick all those up. I remember I got Danzig 1, Danzig 2, Danzig 3 is nowhere. And lo and behold, in my local shop, I found Danzig 4. And whichever way this goes. Anyway, these are unofficial releases. A lot of people say that Glenn Danzig is the one that's behind these. They sound fantastic. This is on white vinyl. Just digging around my local shop. Wasn't looking for it. Wasn't on my radar. Boom, there it is in the stack. And I'm like, oh, I nearly shat myself right then and there. And it ended up being, I think it's a double LP, but it was like $45. Not something I normally do routinely in terms of picking up just a random, you know, new record. But was more than happy to shell that out. That is a kick-ass record, man. So I'll continue to look for, maybe they'll do number 3 this year. Number 3, album by the first person you saw live. This is interesting. The first show I ever saw live. Check this out. It was fall of 1995. I was a freshman in college. And the show was the Foo Fighters. And I saw them in a club in Raleigh. A club called the Ritz. So went to go see them. And it's funny. I don't have any Foo Fighters on vinyl. I don't know what it is. I've liked everything they've done for the most part. But I think I like Dave Grohl. I'm a huge Nirvana fan. They were my Beatles, like in high school. So I think I like Dave Grohl more than I like the music. His personality, I think he's one of the coolest guys in rock and roll history. I couldn't even find my damn Foo Fighters first CD, which I have somewhere. Anyway, on that tour, it was actually, this band was on there. I know it's a CD. That Dog's like an LA punky alternative band, and also the Amps played, which is kind of a band by Kim Deal started, hiatus from the Breeders, and Kelly Deal was in it for a while, except drugs, and she didn't last long. This will earn me more punk points than showing a Foo Fighters record anyway. This I think I showed this on the tag last year. 77 KK. It's this compilation of French and American hardcore bands. So the French bands are on one side, which some of those bands were a little bit nationalist, we'll say. But the USA side is my favorite by far. But if you look, there's this band up here, Mission Impossible. Dave Grohl plays drums in this band. It's a hardcore band out of Virginia. So this is my first band I saw live. I'll show Dave Grohl playing on a real punk album. That, like I said, that'll earn me more punk points anyway. Show a record from a brand new band or artist you got into in 2021. Speaking of punk rock, vinyl community is a wonderful thing, man. And I wouldn't have known about this band probably if it wasn't for awesome people in the VC. Talking about Chubby and the Gang. Now, this is the one that came out in 2020. I did buy it this year. I don't have the one that came out in 2021, but I will be picking it up because this is fantastic stuff. Kind of a UK punk revival kind of thing going on here. Just fun time stuff, man. These guys they don't take themselves too seriously. Just have a good ass time playing some good old punk rock music. And I credit Dr. October, Ryan Kidd, Vinyl Richie, Randy, Deadwax 66 for talking this record up and this band up until I saw it in my shop, and I'm like, bet I'm picking that up solely on their recommendation. God bless the VC, man.
All right, this is Album in a Shrink. Album in the Shrink.
Boo!
Okay, so I'm going to admit to you, I knew nothing about this record before it was given to me. This was given to me as a Christmas present. I'd say 3 or 4 years ago from our good friend and frequent visitor to the show, the Boss Man. He handed me a bag of basically dollar records that he got from up in Rochester, New York. It was a brown bag of about $5 records. It was a grab bag kind of thing. And he gave me this BT Express record, which is called Energy to Burn. Put this record on and it gets the party going. It gets you moving. It gets you up. I've been on a big funk kick probably the last 6 months or so, and just been really enjoying it. And this is right in the middle of it. This is 1976. It is kind of disco-ish at times, which, most of those records were from this era, though. But this thing, you put this thing on with your woman, you guys get the party moving on a Saturday night, she'll love you forever and be yours.
Okay, number 7. Show a record you love, but you haven't given much love to as of late. I could have went a lot of different ways in this because me and Steve especially, have went through these collecting phases. And when we only collect like psych rock and garage stuff, and then we went through like a prog rock phase. And this past year, I've been really into like an 80s metal phase. And so it ebbs and flows. And to me, that's the variety is the spice of life. And in collecting records, more than anything for me, I love hyper-focusing on certain genres and micro-genres of music and really kind of squeezing everything out of it I can to learn more about said genre. But in doing that, a lot of times some old school classic standbys kind of go by the wayside and get picked over a little bit in terms of rotation. A band that came to mind, the Flamin' Lips, and this album, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. An absolute killer record. I mean, this is an absolute awesome record. Got it for Christmas, 10 years ago or something like that. I think it was like 2002 when it originally came out. It's nice red vinyl. And I love the Flamin' Lips and pretty much most of the stuff they've done. And I own a lot of it, but I think they were so wrapped up in a lot of record store day stuff came out. They were constantly pumping out records there for a while, like every year, a couple of records at a time. And I couldn't keep up. And I don't know, I just kind of got burnt out on it.
Number 8 Vinyl Tag, live records. So For this one, it was kind of a difficult decision for me because I have a few that I like. I don't have a ton of live records, but the ones I do have are, I get them because I really like, the performer. And this is one I picked up a long time ago when I first, well, not long time ago, when I first started getting back into vinyl. So this would have been picked up, 8 years ago-ish, something like that, 7 years ago. This is Slash, live at Stoke. So this record is featuring Miles Kennedy. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Miles Kennedy. He's in that, the kind of genre which a lot of people frown on, that kind of early 2000s hard rock scene. But his voice is phenomenal. He fits in well with Slash, and he does a lot of Slash does a lot of Guns N' Roses stuff on this, which is great, of course. He also does his stuff off of his first solo record, not Slash's Snake Pit, but the one he released 10 or so years ago. It was called Slash Rockin' Effin' Roll, I believe was the title of it. But this actually is a 3 LP set, green vinyl. And I'm not going to take it out because it's a bitch to get back in the sleeve here. But I've always just really liked the drumming on this. They've got Brent Fitz playing drums. He played with Alice Cooper, a couple of other people. He's a touring musician. But this record, though, Slash, live in Stoke. Slash was actually born in Stoke. That's what kind of makes this record pretty cool. A lot of people don't know Slash is half British. So he's a U.S. citizen and a British citizen. So it was like a homecoming for him. He talks about Lemmy a little bit because Lemmy was from Stoke. So he plays a song on here that he did with Lemmy, and Lemmy doesn't actually sing on it, but I think Todd Kearns does the singing on it. But if you're ever interested in live records, if you like Guns N' Roses, if you like that, that kind of 80s, early 90s Guns N' Roses stuff, check this record out. Slash is, playing as good now as he ever has. He's sober, and so he's still playing well, believe it or not, even though he's sober, which is crazy. But he's doing this thing with Guns N' Roses now, too. So definitely check this record out, Slash, Maiden, Stoke.
Okay, number 9, an album from a different continent. Going a little bit weird on this one here, and that's what I was trying not to go down the middle with a lot of these picks. And this is definitely not down the middle. I stumbled on this in a local shop. It was like $4. A band called Mad 3. And the name of it's Napalm in the Morning. This is a Japanese band. And I'll tell you what really got me here. As you see this, the names of the songs, Fuzz Engine, okay, but look at the players. The one guy is only fuzz guitar, thunder bass, smash the drum kit. They seem to be really obsessed with fuzz stuff, and that kind of was like, okay, let's take a listen here. So I took a stab on it. What this is kind of it's like neo garage rock. This is from '97, but it's very garagey, very surfy, really, really kick-ass stuff, man. Number 10, Show the Most Out of Your Comfort Zone record. You guys, okay. Well, for me, you can't get more out of my comfort zone than this piece of shit record right here. But it'll always have a spot in my collection. Now, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, Night Moves. But our good buddy Carl the Envelope, his mom passed away this year. And he gifted a lot of us some of this stuff out of his mom's collection. And this was in his mom's collection, and he just had to give it to me. And so this will always have a place in my collection. Big up to Carl and his mom. And I think I'm gonna frame it and put it up somewhere because I'll literally never play this piece of shit record. Let's see, punk or new wave album. Oh man. I completely I did pick this up this year. Completely fell in love with this band. And, for everybody that's like, we're big physical media people here in the vinyl community, obviously. But don't discount streaming, because one thing streaming will do for you is help you discover new artists. And I was on a Spotify kick. I'm trying to find more like hardcore bands and stuff from the 80s that I missed and didn't know shit about. And this pops up. And I knew the name, but I didn't really know the music. Reagan Youth. Look at that cover, first of all. Holy shit. But this is Cleopatra reissued these This is like a collection, volume 1. I think originally their stuff was mostly like singles and stuff, and they came out with these 2 collections. There's collection 1 and collection 2. I need to pick up the second one. Although I heard the second one's not as good as the first. I've heard the second one, but it's on like this like minty toothpaste vinyl. Really kick-ass stuff, man. That New York City hardcore stuff. And as soon as I heard it, streamed it, I'm gonna tear this up, getting this in there. Completely fell in love with it. And one of the most played records, look at this. One of the most played records this year by me, by far. And that's it's so incredibly kick-ass. Jazz album. Another one not down the middle. Something I guarantee you nobody else is showing. Picked this up, I think it was this year. It could have been last year, but either way. Saw this record in there, and I'm like, this is really interesting. It's Walter Zuber Armstrong, and the name of the album is Katana. And it says World Artist. But what this is it's private press. This is a private press, avant-garde stuff. There's some side 1 is recorded live, side 2 actually is it all live, I guess. And but this stuff is out there. It's bonkers. This is not something you put on for the family barbecue. This is not Kenny G shit. It's Wally. It's a Wally ass jazz record, and it's actually signed. Signed in 1975. Came out in 75 as well. Yeah, it says a bit avant-garde. Yeah, it's a bit avant-garde. I like. Number 13, Soundtrack. Oh, man. Well, for those of you that don't know, on Wednesday nights, we do a little stream over on Twitch where we play some video games, and a lot of times we'll watch a movie. One of the film we found is a film called Miami Connection. If you've never seen Miami Connection, dude, do yourself a favor. It's on YouTube, it's on Tubi, but it has everything that a good film should have. It's got ninjas, it's got a synthwave group, it's got kick-ass fight scenes, it has a guy that barely speaks any English, and it's got a kick-ass soundtrack that because of that viewing we did, I ordered the soundtrack. There it is, Miami Connection. Yeah, that Asian guy right there, he doesn't speak English. I mean, he is muddling his way through this movie like you would not believe. And it is, it's a pretty much master's class in acting. Let me just tell you that. Look at that, awesome. But the big song on here is Friends. Oh, I'm not going to sing it for you. I won't do it justice. Here's their band. Yeah. Now this is, I'm going to talk about colored vinyl in a little bit, but I'm not really much of I don't seek out color variants and stuff. This is one I actually spent a little more on because I wanted the blood splatter vinyl. The shirt I'm wearing, Dragon Sound. That's the name of their band, and this came from Aaron Griffin, little VCLT package. Number 14, an album with no writing on the jacket. There's at least nothing on the front. There's some writing on the back. But Aphex Twin, I Care Because You Do. Oh man, I absolutely love this record. It's a top 3 Aphex Twin record for me. Incredibly creepy cover. Old Richard D. James himself. This is a reissue. I don't go out of my way to buy color variants. If the black version of the record is $20 and the colored version is $25, guess what? I'm getting the black version. A lot of people say the black stuff sounds better than the color stuff anyway. I don't know about that. Maybe, but I'm just cheap, and it has to be something really spectacular for me to want to go for some overpriced color variant. This was a recent pickup. My fiance got it for my birthday last week. Monolord, No Comfort, and I don't know if this is going to do it justice, but these aren't even like my favorite colors or anything, so it's not even really that. But this was absolutely jaw-dropping to me, like for color. Look at this. I mean, I hope this does it some sort of justice. But it absolutely made my jaw drop. I'm like, holy shit, is this pretty? And this side, There's actually an etching on the side, which oh, there we go. It's the band, an etching of the band there. Show my pride dig of 2021. That's funny. I know there was also a question, I think Jay did it, something still in the shrink. But I could have did this one, and for a good reason. This band, going back to my, seeking out 80s metal stuff, and I ran across this War Machine, Unknown Soldier, and it's a UK press. It's the only pressing is UK, 1985, I believe, and this son of a gun is sealed. It's a sealed record. It was only $20, but a sealed 85 metal record, and I think the kicker was, I think Metal Theologian said, hey, I don't have that. And I'm like, for real? Like, that's like a feather in my cap right there. But it's still sealed. I've not cracked the seal on it. I know. Now, speaking of 80s metal, show a record from a band from the past that you totally bypassed until recently. Now, some of you guys know this. Some of you guys are going to be really surprised. But a band I just never really got into back in the day, Iron Maiden. I didn't care. I went to high school in like the 90s. And so to me, Iron Maiden seemed like the old guard. And it wasn't old enough. It wasn't like Sabbath or Zeppelin to where you're like, oh yeah, you got to respect the forefathers kind of thing. And it wasn't new and heavy enough. It wasn't heavy enough like, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax. It wasn't one of those. And it wasn't new heavy like Pantera, which is what I was like, in terms of heavy music, I was really into Pantera in the 90s. So it was kind of one of those things where it just didn't lock onto me. And I was like, that's not metal, man. This dude singing like his balls hadn't dropped yet. Very nearsighted of me, because nowadays that's the shit I'm seeking out more than anything, is that the 80s kind of power metal stuff with, kind of operatic singing and real theatrical and, epic kind of thing. Anyway, we do the thing where people can request records when we're spinning them. And people request an Iron Maiden left and right. I did manage to score like 3 or 4 Maiden CDs from Goodwill. And I was started jamming the hell out of it. I'm like, you know what? I'm a convert. I'm freaking loving Iron Maiden, which led me to like Halloween and other shit like that. But anyway, people in the chat were like, you don't have any Iron Maiden? I'm like, well, I don't have any on vinyl. And our good buddy Vance, Zep Pearl, was like, oh, I got you, dude. So he sent Number of the Beast. Brand new reissue, sent it my way. Such a sweet guy. I can't believe he did that. I mean, folks have sent us some incredible stuff. And Vance has sent us just a stack of monster stuff all year long. But this is the one, it's the first Iron Maiden record in my collection. Really happy to have this, man. I really appreciate him doing that. He certainly didn't need to do that, but it's obviously a kick-ass record. You guys all know that. I'm the one that's late to the party on this. Show a box set. Okay, I'm not a box set guy. I don't really own. I've not really went out and purchased a box set. I'm a cheap ass. It's not something I've really went down to collect. But I do have a couple that I've kind of procured through whatever way, osmosis. I have no idea. So I pulled this one out. Really heavy. Big Bands Revisited. I don't know who puts this out. This was 75 cents. This whole thing was 75 cents at Goodwill. It's 7 LPs. But this has some decent players on it. Lionel Hampton, number 1. That's the key on this one. I love Lionel Hampton. Count Basie's on this. Gene Krupa. That'd be pretty good. Glenn Miller, of course. Benny Goodman, Harry James, Woody Herman. I like Woody Herman a lot. Artie Shaw's on this. Stuff like that. Not stuff I reach for. Les Brown. Not stuff I reach for very often. I used to listen to quite a bit of stuff like that, but that early jazz, there's a time and place for it. It's just not most of the time for me, but a cool box set for 75 cents. I mean, you can't go wrong there. Except it takes up a shit ton of room. I don't even know what it's still doing here, honestly. Let's see. Favorite, coolest cover art of 2021, or what? Back to some VCLT from Zep Pearl. The Roots of Psychobilly. Look at this cover. That's a kick-ass cover, man. And the only thing that's better than this cover are the tunes that's on this record. Surfing Bird, Trash Man, the Sonics are on this. Kip Tyler, Link Ray, The Strangers, Bob Froggy Landers, The Phantom, Billy Muru's Supersonic Guitars, Screaming Lord Sutch, Don Willis, Fat Daddy Holmes, The Scarlets, The Trash Man, Kip Tyler, Vince Taylor, The Frantics. I've played the absolute piss out of this record. I mean, it is incredible. The final question, show a record you got as a present or VCLT in 2021. I hate to even do this because we've been really lucky and you guys treat us assholes way better than we deserve to be. Tons of stuff, and I'm not even going to name it. I mean stuff, Scotty Stricknon, Aaron Griffin, Zep Pearl, Michael Cron, Davis Winchester. I mean, just tons of people sending lots of cool stuff. Got stuff from Metal Theologian. I mean, lots of cool stuff. But I did want to, because I noticed as I'm getting close, I'm like, how am I gonna choose who to show off here? Because it's kind of messed up to pick. It's like choosing your favorite children or something. But I did notice that no hip hop was included in this tag, and I don't see many people including hip hop in their tag either, which is a damn shame because there's a lot of good hip hop out there. You know, it's not all mumble rap and dumb shit. There's some really good stuff, especially from back in the day. And our good buddy Aaron Griffin, who has sent us a metric shit ton of stuff this year, that's just incredible. The support for the channel, out of this world, and far more than we deserve. But came across, this is actually 3 records, came across this huge cachet of hip hop in a Goodwill. And the interesting thing about this is they're all full LPs. And if you guys know, if you look for hip hop stuff at all, you will find, 10 to 1, you're going to find singles versus full albums of hip hop. But these are some just absolute stalwart classics from back in the day. Like The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. You can't find this record. I mean, like it just out in the wild. It's very, very tough to find this. Jay said he's been looking for it for a long time. You just can't find this stuff. And a full ass album. Slick Rick, just, man, I remember the first time I heard 2 Live Crew, Slick Rick stuff. So dirty. I wanted more of it. So dirty. Another one here is I'll just ding corners up. Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Well, these are all like 75 cents a buck, something like that. Can't go wrong with a little Public Enemy. Kick ass. Look at the, Flavor Flav is known for the clock. I didn't remember him having that wood grain around the clock. Pretty tight. And probably my favorite solo artist for hip hop of all time, at least for good times, the Biz Marquee going off. The cover's a little beat up here, but the record plays pretty good. How can you go? And we lost Biz this year, so had to show off a little Biz Marquee. Rest in peace. Rest in beats. Is that a thing? That should be a thing. Everybody should start saying that. Rest in beats. But very cool stuff, and very nice of him to send this stuff to us. I mean, he could have flipped this stuff, but he sent it to us instead, and kick ass. There's our vinyl tag 2022. Hope everybody has a fantastic 2022. Good new year. Hope everybody gets all the records there that's on their want list and shit. And come join us over on Twitch, man, on Wednesday nights and Friday nights. And of course, you can catch us the replays and shit over here on YouTube. And take her easy there, fellers. Why'd I say that?